Welcome to my channel, Canines First. I'm Susan Stroh. I've been working with pet dogs and their people for 24 years as a trainer. My co-host for today's video is Alexis Daniel. Alexis' mother was a professional groomer, breeder, and handler in the show ring, which led to Alexis becoming an AKC junior handler, and when she was old enough, she helped her parents by managing their boarding, daycare, and grooming facility. During the time she wasn't working for her parents' dog-focused business, she spent 10 years as a veterinary technician. She's retired from the dog game professionally, but still participates in volunteer.
We're getting up on March 1st, and my clients are asking me about taking their dog with them on vacation.
Oh, not trying to find a place.
Both.
A little bit of both?
Yeah, but it always makes me feel bad to say to them, you didn't get ready in time. You're just not ready with the training.
You can try it, but it's going to be a miserable trip.
Yeah.
It sounds really great. And I've been there too, like as a college kid or young 20-year-old, like, I'm going to take my dog camping, and hated it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't off-leash trained. She was really stupid. And I was worried, like, if we see a snake or something, she's not going to know leave it.
Mm-hmm.
Like all those things. And trying to eat all the camping food. Like, it sounds really great until you do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, you gotta do some work now.
Yeah, I think the expectations are you have to dig in for at least 3 months without a break. A year would be better.
And not every dog wants
that's
to
true.
go camping.
For those that do, what do you think is essential in creating a dog that can travel?
Oh, well, come, obviously.
Yeah.
It's still the 100% reliable come.
Yeah.
Because I don't care if they're not off-leash trained. If you have them in the tent and you think you're going to sneak out and go potty,
Mm-hmm.
or you have them tethered somewhere and the tether comes off. Like, there's so many situations where they might be loose for a little bit. Well, I mean, a couple weeks ago, we went out with friends.
Mm.
Our dogs were all off-leash.
Mm-hmm.
Their dog had a long line.
Yeah.
Somehow, not on the long line for a second.
Yeah, that's right. How did that come off?
We don't know.
It came off, though.
It comes off.
The collar was still
Equipment
on,
sometimes fails.
It's not 100%.
And so she's still young and dumb and doesn't know. And luckily, nobody panicked, and we
tricked her.
We caught her. But there's so many chances for the best of dog.
Yeah.
To get into situations. So
the little scenario I like to use with my clients is, what if the collar falls apart, comes off when y'all jumped off on the side of the road because the doggy had diarrhea?
Yeah. Or it was throwing up.
Yeah.
And it happens. Yeah, and that's the other thing is tools. Like, I always feel like packing your dog for travel is so different than like, okay, if I'm at home, these are my essentials. You have to have all the what ifs.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna potentially throw up and have diarrhea. I don't care if they're on the same food. I don't care if you take bottled water, car sick. Like, there's 1,000 scenarios. They're gonna probably
be ready for that.
Be ready for the upset tummy. And one thing I forgot, like, I am expert at going home for Christmas with all 3 dogs. There was like 4 things we forgot this year that I'm like, man, I never forget that.
Uh-huh.
Long line lead.
Mm-hmm.
Because we forgot to charge collars.
Oh, yeah.
So we didn't have
so that was your
placebo, and so I forgot my long line leads.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, like, if you're at a strange Airbnb with like fencing that's not great, and you get there at dark, I like to have the long line just to assess later. And then we forgot some like grooming things.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You don't know what time you're going to arrive. You think you know what the surroundings are going to be, but if you haven't been there.
So many Airbnbs have beautiful pictures, and then like, here's the gap in the fence.
Oh,
that tiny dogs can fit through.
That's a really good point.
And it's not that sometimes my dogs are running away. It's they don't know that that's also not the fence.
Yeah, and that's always the approach I take when I'm raising a dog that I ever want to leave the 4 walls of its home. Is you can't control the outside world so much, but you can control the dog a lot.
Yeah.
So if you prep the dog for anything,
Yeah.
instead of trying to prep the environment for anything, then you'll be okay.
Yeah. It's a lot easier to pack that way.
Yeah.
That, and you know, crate.
Yeah.
The amount of times I have put my dog in a crate, not because they're being bad, but because I didn't want a toddler sticking
Getting
food
bit.
in their
Mhm.
face or pulling their ear, like trying to protect your dog from, like, give them a break. Sometimes they need some time away.
That reminds me of a common problem that gets brought up to me is they allow dogs in the hotel. Okay, that's good. What are you going to do when you want to go somewhere that the dogs are not allowed and the housekeeper needs to get into the hotel room?
Yeah.
Crate.
Or they hear
Dog always needs
Yeah.
a crate.
or
crate
they hear a
flexibility.
noise and
Mhm.
a bark collar. Like, my dogs only bark usually if there's a knock at the door. Well, how many times in a hotel is there
Oh
a
my
million knocks or the TV is too loud?
Yeah.
And so I usually throw in the bark collars too. Like,
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't want to be kicked out and have to find a new hotel.
Crates and bark collars
Yeah.
if you think that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Oh
That's-
God, can you imagine?
Oh, I can. Yeah,
Getting
my
kicked out.
My parents were here this winter for surgery and go knock on their hotel room. It's a long stay. Like, you know, they were there 3 weeks. Dog next door barks
Every time.
every time.
Oh God.
And so I said, do y'all hear your neighbor has a dog? And she said, oh yeah, we hear they've got a dog. It's real sweet, but on a different schedule than we are.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I would say I'm an overpacker for my dog, but for myself, I'm an underpacker.
Yeah.
I would rather be prepared, especially if you're driving.
Mm-hmm.
Take more than you think you need.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I usually take, you know, not for everybody, but is a brush or a comb, because there's stickers, there's burrs.
Oh yeah.
If it's snowing, they're gonna get matted. If it's,
Would you take any kind of first aid stuff?
I usually do like a Fortiflora, like an anti-diarrhea thing,
Something for
and
the
some
tummy.
Pepsid, but I always have Benadryl, but
Okay. Oh, that's a good one.
just, you know, if we get a bee or something, but not like cuts, wounds usually. I mean, I guess Quick Stop is probably a good one to throw
Yeah.
in,
Mm-hmm.
because nails get ripped off and you may be a while before a vet clinic.
Let's talk about Benadryl for a second. A lot of my clients worry about the long drive to wherever they're going with the dog.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually tell them Benadryl. They're worried about the nausea.
Uh-huh.
What do you think?
The nauseous part, yeah. Dogs don't usually see the sedative properties from Benadryl. Can't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's cheap. It's a milligram per pound.
Does it help with nausea?
It could.
Okay.
It could.
My advice is just like a throwaway kind of like if you're not going to see the vet, I
Yeah.
guess pack Benadryl.
Yeah. Well, and my advice usually is for dogs that are car nauseous, kratom.
Yeah.
Or the
Agreed.
booster. Sometimes, like the being down for some reason
Yeah.
in the crate, that's usually when the dogs that I have had that are just hit the car and start
Oh.
drooling. It's as soon as they can either see in like the booster seat tethered, you know, properly
Mhm.
harnessed, or are crated, it's a little better. And at least if they're crated, they'll maybe not puke everywhere.
Yeah, you can contain the
but-
biohazard.
Yeah, some of that again goes to, is it more torture? Like, do you want them there or do they
Yeah.
want to be there? And
Yeah.
so, you know, some dogs it's like a water faucet the second they get in a car. Those dogs aren't going to get over it after an hour. Some dogs, you know, 30 minutes into the
That's true.
drive,
They get better.
they're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my losses was just
Soaked.
soaked
Yeah.
by the time we got anywhere. Like, you're not enjoying your life.
Ugh.
And it's tough because you want to, like, you hope that the more times you take them,
That it'll help.
but, you know, it's just like some people are car sick.
Yeah.
maybe if they drove, right? Not the deal. If you're driving, then you don't get car sick. So
Get the dog right.
yeah,
I think one of the points that I would hit harder on is if you have conditioned your dog to see the crate as a resting place, they are likely to go to sleep.
yeah,
And I've always noticed that when I'm nauseous, if I can make myself go to sleep,
Yeah.
I'm unaware of my nausea.
yeah. It's a more relaxing versus like you're in trouble.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that's just that whole like prepare sooner than later. Like start. I don't know.
Yeah.
I never understand why people are so anti cage, which I always hate that term. Like they're a zoo animal. Like there's so many times your dog will possibly need to be in it.
Yeah.
I mean, go to any vet clinic right now and a dog that's had to be there for an emergency, like dental surgery,
Yeah.
is screaming its head off in distress because it had no idea about a crate. Not because the
Yeah.
environment or anything else, but the crate was the worst part.
I was able to go on with my life yesterday and allow the housekeeper to go on with hers as well, because I was able to put my
Yeah.
9-year-old dog in a crate so he would stay out of her
Yeah.
business.
You said, I need in her business.
But that was
Yeah.
maybe the only time he needed a crate this month.
Yeah.
But it's still there for him.
Yeah. And he's used to it. So
Yeah.
he knows, like, oh, I'm going to get a treat in there and it's going to be cool and I'm going to sleep, but it's
And I'm
not a
gonna
big deal.
No.
It's not day one, get in your crate. I've never done any training. It's sort of like the perfecting your heel is synonymous to the crate, like the duration and time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Scenario.
Working it up.
Yeah, you don't just throw them in there for 8 hours a day. Hi, new dog.
Yeah.
Bye.
Guess when I'm coming home.
You'll never know. Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like there are times when I'm, typically it's around the holidays, traveling home for the holidays, and I think, ooh, wish I'd done better at this.
Yeah.
Because
Would have served me.
that would have been a nice
Uh-huh.
thing now.
Clients get so focused on the way things are today on a Tuesday in a February. And I said, if that's all you plan for, your dog is stuck at home.
Yeah.
You've got to plan
Kids
for
grow
365 days
Yeah.
and beyond.
Yeah, kids grow up, houses change.
Yep.
Yeah.
You might move, you might get a divorce, somebody might pass away.
Yeah, new job schedule.
If you have the dog ready for life.
Yeah, that's a good point. If somebody, like, if something tragically happened to a family member, would your dog be able to,
Go with it.
like, go with the flow?
Yeah.
And that same thing is, like, don't have emergent trip tomorrow. Where should I take my dog for boarding? Or does anybody know a
Yeah,
pet sitter?
even that's something you have to get prepared for.
Yeah, does anybody know a pet sitter? Well, yeah, but I don't, like, I want to meet them.
Yeah.
I want them to come over, see all of our instructions. And
We have a short trip planned in a few weeks, and I started breaking in a new walker last week.
yeah, here's the quirks of the neighborhood.
I
Here's-
don't want them surprised, and I don't want the dog surprised. I want the dog in routine by then.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's a good point. You may not always be taking your dog with you, but eventually you're going to leave the house for an extended period of time. And you could prep for that too.
and in Dallas, there's so many places. You may test a walker
Yes.
or a place and be like, that's not a fit. And
Yes.
you don't want to be in a position
Where this
where you
is it.
feel obligated because you're out of time.
Yeah.
Because I have been in that situation before.
It's nice to be able to use different places for daycare or a very brief trip.
Yeah. And then there's long stay. Yeah, there's definitely places that I would recommend. If you have a lab that's active, there's so many great places that have the ponds and they're a little bit outside of town, but that's a further drive. And, sometimes in small towns, like West Texas where I grew up, there's a one
You
shop
got this one place.
and you need to get on the schedule
Yeah.
soon. Or there's, my brother's cousin's sister is a dog walker.
Hmm.
And again, you got to get on the schedule, but let's test that out. I think preparation is key.
Yeah.
I don't like. Have you ever met a dog that you're like, you're too prepared? I don't need to come see you. Most of the time, when you say, like, no, we need to do some brush. I could see some brushing up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's probably the rare occasion where somebody calls you and you're like, no, you're good.
Very rare. That's 1 in 100.
No, I don't need to train you. You're overqualified.
No, they always need brushing up.
I mean,
It was like we need brushing up
Yeah,
with everything we
it's-
do.
yeah, I worked out once.
Good.
Did it.
Never need to do that again.
Abs.
There's this phrase on Instagram that's driving me insane, and people are trainers are trying to make a point with this phrase called over socialized. And I wanted to take a second and explain how that can be applied to traveling with your dog. What socialization means when trainers say it, and what is this, what I find humorous, new phrase, your dog's over socialized.
I don't even know what that means. Like, I've never seen a dog over socialized.
What this new wheel they're trying to invent is that if you're walking your dog and it's too excited when it sees another dog, you've then over socialized it because it has an expectation that it's going to be able to interact with another dog.
Don't you mean it's not trained, so it's not
That's what I
paying
mean.
attention
Yeah.
to you?
That's what I call it. Yeah.
What a weird...
So I'm constantly having to undo what people have learned from Instagram when I get into their house.
over socialized.
Why would I want to over socialized? Well, don't worry
That's
about
not
it.
a real thing.
That's
Yeah.
not a thing.
And over socialized to me would mean your dog's asleep or chewing on a bone on the patio while the whole brunch place is at chaos.
Yeah.
And I'm good with that. That's the dog I want. I want the dog asleep.
Give me that over socialized dog.
Yeah, I want the lab that doesn't care and he's asleep. Over socialized.
I don't even like to give it any credence whatsoever. 'Cause they like to use it also in this concept of being at daycare too frequently. And that has more to do with the dog becoming too tired, overstimulated.
Mm-hmm.
But they just expect a layperson to understand what over socialized means. And I'm here to say that's not a thing.
Yeah, it's not only is that not a thing, but even if it were a thing, they're using that term wrong
Yeah.
because I think improper socialization
Sure.
is I see that
Yeah.
all the time on the trail or at the park or wherever. I'm like, why? That dog should not be me. There's no way that puppy has all of its vaccines.
Yeah.
You can sit on the bench at the
That would
park
be
by
improper.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Or
There's too soon
Yeah.
as it pertains to your health.
And I do think there's the too often. Like, your dog needs to learn how to sit at home.
Yeah.
For 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
But
Agreed.
also there's people associate socialization with interactive play with dogs.
That's all. Yeah.
There's no other way
That's
to
the
socialize an animal.
Of the definition, and no, that's not the case. A socialized dog, as we use that word, means you have introduced it
To
to everything
noises,
that will possibly
smells, yeah.
encounter in its life.
Yeah.
And there's a time when the dog's too young and not ready for
Yeah.
something, but that's a short window.
Yeah. And it's sort of like giving a baby new foods. You can do it too young as long as we did it once, he didn't like
And he
it.
didn't like it.
So we never did it again.
Yeah, that's yeah.
He hates strollers, so we never let
Never
him see
took him out
strollers.
again.
Yeah. we don't let him anywhere near strollers because he saw one once. And,
If you're being consistent and you're trying, if a negative thing occurs, you can overcome it. I think.
and
that's
if you
what-
can't, professional help.
Yeah.
Like I think people get stuck on we couldn't do it. I can't do half the stuff. I give up all the time and I call you and I'm like, no, I don't have the patience for it. She's doing this annoying thing. And I think people forget, like, it's not we need thousands of dollars of training for every little nuanced thing. It's, hey, I've been really trying to work on this thing,
And I'm getting nowhere.
and I don't know how to reach the code.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you come along, or any trainer would say, yeah, I think this is something.
Here's something you haven't seen.
Yeah, and I think we can work on it in a few lessons, and then I can show you.
Or I could tell you give up.
Yeah, let's move, pivot.
You've done what you can. And this isn't going to change.
Yeah, or yeah, the ridiculous things people like the touch thing. I never.
To touch their hand.
I don't understand the benefit, and I don't know why that has become popular. Because I think originally it started as it's a way to like tune down a dog. Maybe, am I reaching here? Like, oh, if you come over here, now your attention's on me. Well, you can just teach that with put your attention on. I don't. The touch thing annoys me.
People that they like to show that off to me. See, we did this. We learned this touch thing. Well, you don't need me then.
Yeah,
You
well,
got that.
we'll use touch out in the world. When he's
Never
running
helpful.
after a car, touch. Sorry, Bandit.
Or another one. We're getting off topic a little bit, but look at me. You'll look at me across the street.
Yeah,
Just their name is fine.
yeah.
I always ask them, are you going to yell look at me at the dog park?
Everyone, look at me. Yeah.
Very specific training that really only is useful in a class setting.
Or like, I always thought maybe that originated from service dogs needing to, like, people saw that and thought, ooh, I want that. But it's sort of like the trend of breed specific training.
Oh, yeah.
I assume you've had calls of like, do you train X
Do you have any experience with?
dogs?
I'm looking for someone with a lot of experience with Akitas. Well, then you need to move up north.
Like grooming, or yeah, I mean, they're all pretty much. I don't want to say they're all the same because I've had some hot messes.
It's fun to know the differences.
Right, but fundamentally, you're going to start
Yeah.
from the same place when you meet a new dog,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Like, hi, new dog.
Yeah, and for the most part, all going to get the same treatment. It's nice for me to be able to tell a client, yes, golden retrievers always throw themselves on their back
Mm-hmm.
and play dead.
Yeah,
And they don't want their
you're
equipment on. That's normal for them. But I'm still going to approach it the same.
yeah. Your
Get over
schnauzer's
here.
going to scream. It doesn't
Yes,
mean he's hurting.
absolutely. Or your Shiba.
Yeah, he didn't bark.
I tried to walk a Shiba once.
Um,
He didn't like it.
so we just stopped doing that. I wonder, do people, if they've called you and they ask for the breed specific training and you're like, yes, I've trained XY dog, then it's like, oh, phew. Or,
Yeah, they're like really thrilled that 50% of my work is doodles. Oh, good, because I have one too. Shocker.
yeah,
And I always tell them, look around. What's popular in this city?
yeah,
That's what I've trained.
yeah. And 10 years ago, look around, what was popular?
Yeah,
That's what I was
trained
trained
those
at.
10 years
Yeah.
ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
because, I mean, probably what's popular is by what it looks like. And you've done no research, you just like the way they look.
My friend has one.
So you put that in your life because of the looks, so they're probably gonna have training issues.
Yeah. The funniest one I ever saw, I shared with you, it was kind of recent, was golden retriever training. Just very specific golden retriever training.
Only. It's genius.
It really is a great marketing ploy. Tell us about, because I don't have as much experience as you do, breed specific dog food.
Well, I will say, you know, I've been out of the world for a while, but it became popular, I want to say like 20 years ago.
That's what I
Royal
was thinking,
Canin
was Royal Canin
and
is
I
what
think
remember.
Purina came out with breed specific food, and it was based off all the genetic problems from the, terrible puppy mills and breeding. Like, well, we're seeing a lot of kidney in Shih Tzus, so let's make a food that supports kidney health.
Okay.
Which
Should they put a supplement in it, perhaps?
yeah, and a cute little picture of a Shih Tzu on the front.
Yeah.
Which I always struggled with because
What if you don't need that?
what if you don't need that? And just like us, taking nutraceuticals it's a waste if you're not like, I can take millions of magnesium supplements, but what if I'm not deficient, or if I'm taking it the wrong way, or if it's not a good quality supplement? I feel like just throwing supplements at a problem you don't have, you could get into some issues. That's a whole other diet, exercise, nutraceutical topic. But I feel like it gave vets sort of a support of like, see, your dog's on the front.
Mm-hmm. So
Not that they
like
were
we're animals.
wrong. Yeah, exactly. Not that they were wrong necessarily, because there were a lot of, like Cavaliers have heart issues.
Yeah.
Giving them supportive heart stuff probably wasn't bad, but I think it makes the layperson blind to doing regular stuff. Like, mine are all geriatric, mind you, but my dogs are going every 6 months for
Right.
blood work and UA. Period. Fecal. I'm doing diagnostics every 6 months on my geriatric dogs. I don't care if they feel fine. I don't care if whatever. I can't tell you the amount of times I've found stuff that I'm like, really? From blood work. And if it's great, it's great. Like, I will never get pissed. That's one of my big veterinary pet peeves, is when people say, yeah, I took a test and everything was fine. It's sort of like you're sick and you go get a flu test and you're pissed that it's negative. Well, positive diagnostics are a good thing. Like, we can rule out healthy stuff, but like relying on these breed specific foods, or relying on, well, I've been feeding them this without doing the other expensive diagnostics, I feel like it kind of gets people a false sense of security. Which we,
Well, and
talked about
it
food
makes
all.
things simple for you. I don't have to research this. I'm super busy researching a new fridge,
Yeah,
and I don't have time to do the dog food too.
yeah.
I just match the picture.
And
to
it's
the dog.
look at the dog. And it's so weird to me how, like, I will meet so many people, and I'm sure you do, that the fridge is full of clean, good ingredients, lean protein. They're eating from the farmer's market. They are working out, and none of that translates to the dog.
Yeah.
Like, did you just turn over the bag? You couldn't. I mean, that's what I always, everybody, what kind of food should I feed? Read the ingredients.
So the idea is not, it's just supposed to help stave off whatever issue is most commonly associated with that breed.
I guess.
That does sound right.
Because eventually, if your Cavalier does get kidney issues, they'll probably put them on a kidney specific diet versus going for the Cavalier food. Or if it gets heart issues, if it's Cavalier, it's going to get heart. And so I never understood that, but maybe people have good results, so that's why it's stuck around. I still see it in clinics if it sells. I mean, and that's the other thing, is I think,
I don't know how you could even test that.
litter mates eating. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, you didn't die before 10, so it's doing well. Yeah, because that's what it's just like people. Only thing you can change is diet and exercise and training.
Yeah.
You can't change their genetics, so
That's right.
like, you can work with what you got. But yeah, the genetic thing, and that's my mom used to get so hung up on, there's so many places here that don't know their breeds. And I think, yes, it's a good place to start, knowing your breeds and the tendencies and what they're bred for, and herding dogs herd, and sporting dogs need more exercise and things like that. But it's also,
It's a part of the picture.
yeah,
It's not the whole picture.
exactly. It's we're back to the, like, don't look at definitives. Yeah. Yeah,
That's good.
for
So
sure.
I guess then, in summary, pick a good dog food.
Yeah,
And,
that you're comfortable with.
yeah, and find a trainer that you like. They don't have to be a German short hair trainer.
No, and get prepared. Stuff's gonna come up.
Yeah,
Be prepared.
sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
Whether you're leaving them behind or taking them with you. That
absolutely.
was a really good point to make, that they do have to be prepped sometimes to be left behind.
Yeah. Because, you know, if we're gonna be doing a lot of antiquing, there's not room for the crate
Uh-huh.
and the dog food
Yeah,
and, you know,
that's right.
their giant suitcase
Yeah.
full of all my grooming
So you didn't
supplies.
have to go this time.
Nope.
I'm going to break in a new sitter.
Yep.
I'm glad we
He
did.
seems really stressed.
I'm telling you. Well, I guess it's time for us to all have a bone.
You want a bone?
You ready?
He doesn't.
You want a treat?
You slept through the whole podcast.
You're all
so
done. Thank you. Oh, yay. What do we do now?
You can't say okay.
You want a
I
snack?
know okay.
You want a snack? You're so
He's the
pretty.
most okay dog in the whole world.
You're so
Okay.
pretty.